is Felicia Culotta, who we see in the first documentary. There's a cute moment where you do the clapboard and she's just delighted with it. And she tells us so much more in the second documentary. I assume she's breaking her NDA and the wall is coming down. Is that what I'm seeing?
Absolutely. Yeah, she was really scared during the first documentary. She's such a lovely human, and I had so much fun with her in her hometown, but she was nervous. I think she said the word conservatorship in the first documentary, and she was like, I don't know if anyone said this word as of the point she was doing the interview. So she was scared. But then actually in June of 2021, also a magic twist of the conservatorship, Britney spoke in court and said things like, I feel like I'm being trafficked. I was put in a mental health facility against my will. She said she felt like she was forced to take lithium against her will. And because of the pandemic, they were trying to make it so people didn't come into the courtroom. Usually it would just be journalists taking notes and then trying to convey what she said, but you could call in and hear the audio of what she was saying. And, people spread it all throughout the internet. And we were outside with Free Britney folks while they were listening to it on their cell phones. Once that happened, Felicia, as well as the other people in her documentary, wanted to be more open because they said now that Britney has spoken publicly, we have some evidence that backs up some of what she's saying. And we know that she wants people to know because she said that and we heard it. And so Felicia was able to be much more open. You said it breaks the wall. And it's interesting because the first documentary, we had these flat walls of flowers and leaves behind the people. And that was on purpose because it wanted to be like, is this real? Is this not real? And at certain important points in the film, we would back up and show you that it was just a flat set. And then in the second documentary, we pulled the flat walls aside and we had the roses from the first documentary kind of scattered in the background. And that was totally on purpose to show that we were breaking that wall.
I was going to ask about that, especially the mysterious finish to the first one where Britney's in the tub and she says, it looks like a rose. And then she crumples it up. It's not a rose. And I thought that was sort of an echo of the flowers we saw throughout the piece.
Absolutely. And the reason we did that is because I had been obsessed with looking at her Instagram, of course, because that's what everyone talked about. And that was the only way you could really see Britney Spears. She rarely did interviews and they were very controlled by her little circle around her. And there's just roses everywhere in her Instagram. Roses, 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 flowers. And so I wanted it to feel like we were living in her Instagram. And the second one, actually, we made these like stately homes in the back of her because she had started putting her home more in her Instagram and doing these like twirling dances in her living room, which was very marble or like that on purpose.
And in terms of her work, her career, everything, does she really look like somebody who is unable to feed herself, clothe herself, is open to manipulation? And I mean, to your knowledge, has there ever been anyone under conservatorship who is earning tens of millions of dollars a year?
No, not actively performing. And that was something that we asked a lot of experts because obviously mental health is very complicated. We come in with an open mind and are seeking guidance and expertise from different experts. And so when we would ask them, obviously we don't know what we don't know, but what do you make of this situation? Resoundingly, they would say that conservatorships are for people are very, very extreme. They're supposed to be a last resort after you try to help someone in various other ways that aren't so severe they take away all of their civil rights. And Britney's situation presented such a unique paradox that these experts would point out that either she is so vulnerable that she needs this intense level of protection, or she's able to actively perform and make millions of dollars, including millions of dollars for various conservators and other people working for her. And those two things, it just really boggled their mind that, how can those two things be true at the same time?
One takeaway I do have that I think about a lot is just how long this has gone on. And it seems as if for a very long time, people were willing to buy into this narrative that doesn't make any sense, which is that someone could fit this standard, but also be able to perform and make millions of dollars. Those two things cannot be true at the same time. But everyone was kind of willing to just believe it because you got to go to a good show and see your favorite celebrity out there smiling, and it was just much easier to believe that everything was okay. And I think the public is a lot more sympathetic now or empathetic to putting themselves in her shoes and, believing her and or just wanting to see her succeed.
Why do you think that is? Like, why is the public more sympathetic now?
I think it was Britney herself publicly speaking and kind of shattering the public narrative that all was well and her dad had saved her life and everything was great under the conservatorship. And she spoke in such detail and so passionately and said so many shocking things. It really woke up a lot of people. I think it's sometimes easy to overlook the fact that there's a human being with rights and with dignity and with respect at the center of all of this. And I think that gets lost in the spectacle and the legal jousting and the, nuance of medical issues and just the nitty-gritty of it all. And I think it's just nice when that person is listened to.
Liz, thank you.
Thank you.